$450,000 deal pays for the whole year almost.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
dude.
then it's all gravy ROI.
It's all gravy. Nice. Welcome, guys. We are here now live with John, who's happy and kind enough to actually take time out of his day to talk to us about his experience working with Good Vibe Squad. How's it going, John?
Hey, McBilly, doing great. Thanks.
Why don't you just introduce yourself first? Who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
My name is John Epifanio. I'm with RealFi Home Funding. I live in South Jersey. I have a family here, and I've been licensed doing loans as a loan officer for about 10 years, and I've been a branch manager for the past 2 years.
Why don't you just go ahead and tell us what made you decide to start working with Good Vibe Squad in the first place?
I've been looking for something to make this business more scalable. Like, how do I really take it up to the next level? So, I found that I was getting involved in the more mundane tasks of the job, helping the processor, chasing documents, things like that. Not really where I wanted to be. My branch development manager, okay, we were just brainstorming one day, and he's like, "How can I help you?" I said, "Well, I don't know. Like, look, I mean, I've been with the company now for a year. I've done pretty well. I'm comfortable. I've got a nice balance in my P&L. I have money to advertise. All the bills are paid." And he's like, "Well, how about turning it around? Like, instead of let's bring a bagel tray over to this real estate office. How about having them come to you?" I said, "Well, I've never heard of such a thing, but it sounds like a great idea." He says, "Check these guys out." And he just sent me the link to Good Vibe Squad. And so I didn't even hesitate. I said, "You know what? I'm going to do that." I've been working this program for about 3 months now. And I landed 2 contracts quite early in the process. One was a $450,000 FHA loan. The other one was about $150,000 conventional condo purchase. But every day I'm working this pipeline. I'm learning more about it. When you called this morning, I was in the middle of a power dial, which I like to do. And I think it's great because it systematically allows you to call all your new leads in order. If you have to stop, take a phone call, it's right there when you're done. Even I've done it later in the day. I've resumed my power dialing. That way you can hit up all of your customers one after the other in a systematic approach. If they don't answer, I drop a voicemail in there and move on.
Yep. That's awesome, John. And I know we were kind of chatting about this earlier, but so you're 3 months in, right? Like roughly going 3 months, you already have 2 contracts, and like we know that it really takes time. Usually it takes about 90 days to even, get that first sale, and you already have 2 contracts. So that's awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about kind of your experience with Good Vibe Squad? What that experience looked like when you came in, and up until like right now with the results that you're receiving?
Sure. When I called after I spoke to my branch development manager, I already had it set in my head that I was just going to give it a shot. I had the advertising budget in place, and that's all I needed to hear. Something new, something fresh, a different perspective. So I was all in. So I got started right away with Bree and Stephanie and the support staff, Good Vibe Squad. They were great. They transitioned me right over within a week. I had the leads turned on. I was making my calls. The automations were working, things like that. Oh, and another thing I want to say, very important, is I don't believe I've missed either a Wednesday call with Preston or a Thursday ninja call with you since I started. I really recommend them. And I think there's a lot of great ideas exchanged in those Zoom calls. And I think they've been great. They've been very helpful for me and my business.
Love it, John. And that's really what we really advocate, because, obviously we have the training portal. We have a full course that will walk you through, but there's going to be questions that you want to, answer, ask questions. And we hold a weekly live coaching call with ourselves and with the whole community. For the newer folks that might be also kind of wanting to replicate that success, what would you advise to them?
I would just say, you have to work it. Don't just rely on the automations. They're great. I approach each lead when I power dial it. I pause it. I look at the notes. I get prepared for the call. Everybody's different. And I also look, hey, have I texted them already today through the automations? Or, I don't want to overdo it sometimes. Sometimes I'll see that, hey, that's 2 days in a row I made some kind of contact. Maybe I'll get them tomorrow. So you got to, I guess my point being, every lead in here is different. They all want to buy. Some people want to buy tomorrow, some are next month. Some want to buy at some point. So, it's just finding out where they are. But unlike when I did leads with Zillow or realtor.com before, I've done that in the past where I partnered up with another real estate agent. and we'd call them once or twice, and then that was it. And it's a shame because I know that in sales, sometimes it's this 8th, 9th call, 10th call that might make it, that might make the sale. So
Yep.
that was one of the mistakes I made in the past when I've worked other leads. And now what I'm actually doing is going ahead and taking new leads that I get, they're non-good vibe squad leads, and I'm putting it into the 1003s on demand. And it just, for me, I'm better that way. I need one thing to work with, one sandbox to play in.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about setting that foundation where you have a scalable sales process, right? So I love that, John. So with regards to, I know you're already using the system, right? So that's awesome. You're getting that results, you're getting this momentum already, and you're like, 2 months, almost 3 months in now. So with your experience right now, you've worked with other lead companies before. You mentioned you've worked with Zillow, realtor.com. You've worked with other marketing agencies before. Can you kind of elaborate and just kind of talk about the differences that you've seen with us in Good Vibes Squad versus all the other companies that you've worked with before?
Well, I think the difference is I'm still getting just as many, if not more leads than when I was with those past companies. But that was it. I just had a lead, and it was somebody in my local area, and that was it. In my personal situation, I've opened up my lead pipeline to all of the state that I work in. So it's allowing me to talk to people that are out of the area.
Mhm.
And in my personal situation, the northern part of the state is where the higher loan dollars are. So that's really exciting to me, as I've got some leads that I'm looking at and talking to that, it's just going to be more higher sales prices.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But,
So
but
you're
again, I'm sorry, McBilly, but the main point I want to make is the difference between this and, the Zillows, the realtors, those kind of lead sources has been the ability to follow up. The follow up is much better.
love it. Love it.
Is everything.
So obviously, we're generating the leads for you. We're going through like that traction model. We have the automation as well, as far as like the systems. What are other things that you really love about like working with Good Vibe Squad that's outside of like the system and like the leads?
I think it's trained me how to be a little bit better on the phone. I do like to go back and listen to my phone calls
Mhm.
that I have. I love that feature. Sometimes I'll see, hey, I had a 5-minute conversation with this person, and it'll allow me to go back and I'll spend 5 minutes and listen to it. That way, when I call them back, because I've made a couple mistakes where I didn't read all my notes, and the girl's like, "Well, uh, I thought I'm refining. I told you I'm saving money, right? You remember we had that conversation? I'm like, I'm sorry, I do. I'll update the file to reflect that, and I will call you back. Let's say, how's a month sound? Yeah, that sounds fine. That'll be great. So
Mhm.
the follow up is there. You just again, you have to treat each lead as they're people with their own needs, their own situations. They're not all the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah. And we're always very transparent about this. At the end of the day, you have to put the work in, right? And that's truly why, I have a lot of respect for what you do, John. You're really awesome. You're really putting in the work, and, you're really seeing that now, right? Can you talk a little bit more about like, so now that we've been working together 2 months, going 3 months now, what kind of results have you actually seen, John?
I am seeing more leads come out of the new lead stage and into either docs requested. A couple of you have made it to contract, which is great, which is the ultimate goal, to get a funded deal. One of the ultimate goals, but it's certainly a bit, maybe the number one. But I'm starting to see more migration out of new leads. It took me a couple months to really get my rap down, so to speak. But
Mhm.
I'm always used to people sending me warm leads, so it's a little different talk. I
Right.
can't quite. It has to be all about them at the beginning.
Yep.
All about the lead. Hey, I see here you're looking to buy Somerset County. Okay, yeah, great. And you're a healthcare worker. Well, that's great. My best friend is a nurse. I just got off the boat with her. She's a great person. I know what you guys go through. I mean, you have a special job. You really
Yep.
do. And you make that connection with them. All of a sudden, you're building a little bit of rapport.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Because
Which,
there's
yeah.
so to your point, there's really a big difference because, especially if you've just been working like realtor partners, right, where these are all referrals. So every time they refer that to you, those are going to be very transactional conversations versus, to your point, John, these are more relationship conversations, right? Relational conversations where, you know, you got to build that rapport. But, you know, that the system has that, you know, we got the scripts for it. So I'm glad that that is working for you, and you're really seeing that momentum now. So my last question for you, John, is, you know, I know, you know, there's probably other loan officers that are probably watching this video right now. Maybe they want to find a similar system. Maybe they're potentially thinking of working with Good Vibe Squad, but are maybe on the fence. What would you tell them, John?
It's sort of a one-stop shop with Good Vibe Squad, and the 1003s on demand program just has made my life so much easier. I mean, it really has. So I'm getting a great number of new leads. You know, exactly what was advertised. I'm seriously considering increasing my ad spend so that I get more, you know. Yep. But I would say that the, you know, between the 1003s on demand, keeping me organized, my weekly meetings that are happening with McBilly and Preston on Wednesdays and Thursdays, the accessibility of the support staff. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I think all the tools are in place. Comes down to you, the loan officer, you know, to reach out and get the business. There's a lot of business out there.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Well, you want to focus on what you do best, which is originate loans.
That's
Love
right.
it.